who were some of your comic book influences as a kid growing up? Like, who did you look at and go, this is what I would like it to live up to?
I've never thought about that. I've honestly never thought about that. I read a lot of Submariner when I was a kid. I just always thought Prince Namor was a badass.
He's a badass.
He is a badass. Read a lot of Batman. Some random stuff that I think it was like so obscure that I don't even like knew about it. Wild Dog, and
I remember that. The guy with the hockey mask who defended the Twin Cities.
And he had it was like a bulldog on his jersey or something.
Yeah, that was a cool comic.
I don't know. I was always into the guys that were kind of almost like normal people. Mm-hmm. You know, Batman, average guy, no superhuman abilities. He's just smart and fucking strong. You know, that's his strength. But then again, you know, Prince Namor could like breathe underwater. And
well, I was going to ask you about that. You know, they're doing a Submariner movie. Have you ever, considered going, hey guys, I would love to play the part? You would be a really cool Submariner. I think you had the pointy ears. You pull that off.
I know. I need like really high eyebrows though.
You're like, I don't know.
Exactly.
You're
right?
Like, we're gonna proselytize your head there. And...
Totally. Look, any of that stuff, any of the characters from the books that I'd read as a kid, I'd love to do any of that stuff, but I'm always hesitant. I know when I was 16 or 17, as a young actor, I always wanted to have something to say. And people talk about, parts you'd want to play. And I'd always kind of mention Robin from a Batman series. And I always thought that would be cool. I kind of fit the profile. And now as I come back to Hummy, people are like, you're going to play Robin? Or better yet, man, you're going to play Nightwing? And it's like, look, man, I don't think anybody's going to touch that, since the Chris O'Donnell days. Probably smart. If they do, they're doing a Nightwing, and guess what? I'm probably going to be like 45 years old by the time that comes to fruition, so,
It's probably better that you wouldn't want to take on a character like that, though.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's like he's either such a widely loved or a widely reviled character that, like, why put yourself into that position?
Exactly.
So
I mean, I'd much rather, if I want to pull off some kind of character, go from like classic literature and kind of like, I don't know, I hold characters in comics like with a little more revere than just, going in, blasting out a job and saying, oh, this is what I want to do. I don't know. That being said, if I ever got approached to play something cool, like I'd be like, yeah, totally, I'd be into it. It's fun.
People. So tell me about, I heard your producing partner there talking about some upcoming comic book projects.
Yeah.
Can you talk about those?
I can. The one that we can talk about, aside of Rest, is called Berserker. It's written by a guy named Rick Lovard, who came from the TV world, had this great story about these two guys, unconnected. One's a returning soldier from Afghanistan, one's a high school athlete. And they're basically being recruited by these two warring families that come from Norse heritage to fight in a big Ragnarok battle. Cool. And Berserker is the title. It's put out by Top Cow. We're hoping to lock in a great artist soon, but that one's going to be released in March. But it's a big, bloody, epic book, and it's so fucking cool. And it's different in style and tone and theme to Rest, which is something that, as a guy who's given back to the community of comics, I feel really good about it. It's not just, okay, let's build a book and a story, around Milo the actor or around something that is just, right fresh in my world. A story about these guys that have this berserking quality that they go nuts and literally rip people in half with their bare hands but don't look green like the Hulk. It's like, wow, that's kind of a cool concept. It's a cool idea. So, I think what we at my company are trying to do is really create these stories or link up with people that have these stories and want to tell these stories that are just not so specific to any one type of audience. We want something that like a bunch of different people are going to enjoy.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then do you mind if I ask a couple of
Dude, keep going, man. Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay, because
I
wasn't sure. I wanted to focus on Rest as much.
No, I appreciate it, but whatever you want, man.
You've kind of delved into directing a little bit lately, and I was wondering if you had any plans on directing any episodes of Heroes in the future, if that's part of your plan.
Directing an episode of Heroes has come up before, but I gotta say, man, I'm content just being an actor on that show. It's a big undertaking that the directors have to go through on the show and the prep work and everything. And I think for me, having to mix the worlds of acting and directing, particularly on that job, would just be difficult. I'd want to just like focus as a director and be pulled out of the episode, or let them just, you know, keep me as an actor and not direct. But it came up. You know, I think if they really pressed me on it, I'd probably say yes, because it'd be fun. Yeah. These scripts come in, like, they're so visual, but yet you can really drive the characters. You know, it's like push something out of the actors that hasn't been seen before. Like, that's the stuff that I always think about when I think about directing an episode of Heroes. You know, I see my friends and I see their strengths, and sometimes, you know, a visiting director doesn't know that about the actor. So I wonder if, like, I'd be able to push it through. But at the same time, I separate this stuff, you know. I'll do my directing over here, I'll put my comic books out over here, I'll do my acting over there. I'm sure at some point all the worlds are going to collide, and it's like, hey, you're directing a movie that you're acting in that was based on a comic that was about, okay, shit.
Yeah. Then where do you go from there, right?
Where do you go from there, yeah.
Are we going to see any more team-ups with Hero and Peter? Because I consider them like the Superman and Batman of the series. You know, you got the dark character and the kind of goofy, upbeat one. Yeah. And I love seeing those guys together, so I'm hoping that they come together again this season.
The season was actually supposed to start with Hero and Peter together. The beginning of the season, when Peter was running and he runs into that room and there's Claire, there was a version where it was Hero and Peter running together, future Hero and Peter, and you could kind of see that. I think that was something that was always discussed. It was like, these two guys, they are comrades and they have a distance between them, but at some point they will come together and their worlds will collide. You know, I mean, I'm with you, man. I hope it happens, because Mossy, he's a good guy and he's a lot of fun, and we always like enjoy the work that we do together, as limited as it has been in the past. But yeah, man, I'm rooting for that one too.
Right on. And I'm excited that you guys got Robert Forster on the show.
Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite actors. Yeah. I knew Papa Petrelli was going to be coming back. What's it like working with a guy? He has such presence on screen, you know. Yeah. How did you guys work out? Like, did you know he was going to be coming back, or was that a surprise for you too?
No, I'd found out. There was a pretty short list of guys that they were considering for Arthur Petrelli, and I'd worked with Robert before on a movie years ago called Cursed, but he got cut out of the film when they retooled it, and so I'd known him, and when he popped back in, it was like, oh yeah, you know, we pick right back up where he'd been before. But you're right, he's got a presence, and he's got his thing that he's good at, and you know, he's playing a character that doesn't really need to do much. He's now the most powerful, so he can really just keep everything to a minimal, you know, a quick little flick of the wrist or swish or, you know, the fingers, and he's in charge. But it was nice to finally meet that guy. I mean, my character had been dealing with, you know, daddy issues since day one. You know, daddy doesn't accept the fact that he goes and becomes a nurse, or daddy doesn't accept the fact that, you know, he likes this one girl. It's like, it was neat to play with that and actually have a guy that I was working against.
Cool.
And have it be Robert Forster.
Yeah.
Divide's my production company. We produce film, kind of stay out of television, do a lot of digital content, and now comics. You know, I think like anybody has, you know, just a kind of company to funnel ideas. It started thinking about all these creative people that we knew, anything from actors and directors and writers to other producers that are just looking to link up, and myself and my partner had relationships around town with studios and executives, and we just thought, you know what, this is way too big of an opportunity to pass up, to not pull these people together, to pull all these creative types together. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think it's, you know, we're a smaller company, but we've got a lot of heart, and we know who we are, we know who we're not, and I think what we're trying to do is establish ourselves as a place that identifies good material and is just cool to work with. You know, because life's too short to work with assholes, to be honest, man.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. It's good to be able to know that the people you're working with are trustworthy, especially in this crazy town.
Dude, absolutely, man. And so many.
It's so rough.
Yeah. So many people are so quick, you know, to be like, hey, let's do something, and it's like, you know, not now, later.
Right.
You know, and it's like, we all fall victim to being busy with things that are keeping us busy, you know, at the immediate. But I don't know. I think we're a company that's gonna be somebody of consequence at some point. So in different arenas, you know, from comics to features and digital content, and at some point maybe we'll get back in TV, but I don't know. I don't know.